In a frontier society like Dodge City, the sources of amusement were few, and they were liable to be rough, disreputable, and overcrowded. Most of them could lead to trouble for somebody. And sometimes one of them could lead to trouble for the whole community, and for Wyatt Earp.
Hey, aren't you kind of afraid of getting yourself run over sitting out here in the middle of the street like that?
Howdy, Wyatt. Well, it's cool out here.
Well, you wouldn't be so warm if you'd quit wearing that rug of fringe around.
Thought you'd be at the race this afternoon.
Race?
Yeah, a horse race. Bill Canyon's racing his Blaze Stallion again this afternoon.
Oh, where?
Over across the river, I reckon.
Well, who challenged him this time?
I don't know. Man's a fool, whoever he was.
Yeah, I didn't think there was a horse left that he hadn't beat.
Marshal! Marshal there!
What's the matter, Wendy?
Indians, just to the other side of the bridge, not 500 yards from town and coming.
Wait a minute.
I'm going to the long way.
Well, it's foolish, but I guess we better get out there and take a look.
That's for the buffalo hides. That's for the robes. This is for the horses. Look, we've got a lot more to bet here. That all the horses you got?
That is all.
You can get more. You Indians can always find more horses somewhere. That's for your promise to deliver 20 more horses.
That I cannot promise.
Same value in hides. Marshal, what are you doing down here? Come out to watch the race?
Are you the one they called Bullhead? Little Elk's band?
Yes,
How's my friend Little Elk?
he's well.
And my friend, Mr. Cousin?
He's in the south, hunting.
Yeah, I figured he was away, otherwise I would have heard about this. You know you're not supposed to be this close to town, don't you?
He feared to come to us.
Sure. Why should I risk my neck down there in the territory?
So you egged him into crossing the treaty line, huh?
All right, so why not? Now, what harm are they doing? What's wrong with a little horse race?
Well, I'll tell you. Between Cheyenne and white men, there always can be trouble. Anything can start it. A misunderstanding, something little that wouldn't mean much to anybody else.
Well, don't worry about it, Marshal. Ain't gonna be no trouble. There ain't enough of them to start anything.
We'll send them packing just as soon as the race is over.
Why, sure. They'll be glad to get away with their skins.
What if you lose?
We won't lose. My horse can beat anything on 4 feet.
You're real sure of that, huh?
That's right, Marshal. I wouldn't have him if he couldn't. I'm a horse lover, Marshal. But I only love the fastest.
Why, sure. Look what they brung to raise Milt Stallion. That measly little pinto could... He's not even hardly wake enough to run a race.
We won't lose, Marshal, unless you try to stop the race.
Well, you'd probably just go behind my back anyway. But remember one thing, Mr. Canyon. A bet's a bet, no matter who wins. I'm going to stay right here and see that the winner collects.
Why, thanks, Marshal. You do that. Bullhead, let's finish up our business. To the same amount of hides.
Them Cheyennes sure love to bet. I've heard they even bet their wives and kids sometimes. Look at all them buffalo robes they brought. Horses, too. Sure hate to see them lose it all.
Yeah, maybe they won't. I've heard that little pinto horse there is right fast.
Canyon don't seem to figure he's risking very much the way he's putting out his gold. He ain't gonna like it none either if he loses.
Would you like to start him, Marshal?
Yeah, I'll start him. You ready?
Must have done something. Cheated somehow.
He didn't cheat. That Pinto horse was the fastest. Like I said, Mr. Canyon, a bet is a bet. Go ahead and take your winnings, Bullhead.
Sure. Take it. It's yours.
Hey, Marshal, you're gonna let them savages take our money?
You made a bet, not an investment. If you'd have won, you'd have taken their hides and horses.
All right, the race is over. Going back to town.
Take him back to the stables.
Maybe this will teach you, Mr. Canyon. There's never a sure thing.
Maybe you're right, Marshal.
There's always a faster horse somewhere and a luckier man.
That's quite some pinto you got there. Sure fooled me. What do you want for him?
I do not want to sell.
Oh, come now, I'll pay you a good price.
Why do you want my horse? Yours is almost as fast. We will not race again.
I want to know that I've got the fastest, that there's not another horse can beat him anywhere.
Except for mine.
That's just it, except for yours. Bullhead, I want that horse.
No.
I'll pay you 200 in gold.
I do not need your gold.
What do you care anyway? Just a horse to you, something for you to ride till he drops.
He's good for the hunt.
Wait. Look around. I'm going to have that horse one way or another, Bullhead. Now, you tell him to cut him out of the herd and leave him here. I'll pull this trigger.
You would be a dead man.
At the first sound of a shot, the marshal and all the others will be back here mighty quick. Besides, you'll be dead first.
You want my horse that bad?
I do.
Then shoot.
Stay back or I'll kill you. No, no!
Dead.
And if Verpa's scared to go after him, we'll get up our own posse and go down and clean him out, right?
Right.
All right. They probably ain't very far off. They don't figure no man's got the nerve to go on down after him, so we can catch him easy. Revenge poor old Milt. Wipe out every last heathen. Well, what do you say? Who's with me now? Well, come on!
Where do you think you're going, Walters?
If you won't do your job, Marshal, then we're going to have to do it for you.
We'll do it. Did it ever occur to you, Mr. Walters, that there might be two sides to this?
You going to take the side of a savage against Milt? You going to try to save him from what's coming to him?
I'm going to see that he stands trial, that's all. That's my job.
Then why don't you do it? You let him ride right away from you. Didn't even give him a chase.
That's right. You sure didn't.
Mr. Walters, you saw what their horses were like. Besides, it's not going to be too difficult to find Little Elk's band.
What about Bullhead? Give him a little time, he'll disappear. But we don't figure to let that happen.
Well, neither do I. I'm going out there right now. But I'm going alone, Mr. Walters. You understand that?
Maybe we don't figure to wait on you, Marshal.
You'll wait. Now, any man that comes out of this saloon after me is going to go to jail.
And I'll see to it.
One sound, white man, you die. Bioko! Bioko! Go. Follow go. Okay.
How many others are with you?
I came alone.
I am to believe that?
It is true, Little Elk. Your guards can watch. You do not remember me?
I remember.
Then you know that we are friends.
A white man is dead. Is that not why you are here?
Yes. I came for Bullhead.
As I thought.
He must go back. It is the law that I must enforce.
I might trust you, my friend, but I do not trust the others.
Little Elk, you must learn to trust the white man's law, because your people will have to live under this law. You can trust it to be fair.
Can you promise that it will return Bullhead to his people without harm?
No, I cannot promise that, because he will not return if he is judged to have killed without cause.
I have judged him and found him without blame. It is enough.
No, it is not enough. If he does not go back, the white men will say that he is guilty, and he will be hunted and punished. He must go back.
Even if he wished it, he could not go. He is near death.
Death? How?
From the white man's bullet.
May I see him?
But your coat.
Bullet.
Do not fear, my brother.
I want to see your wound. In the back. That bullet will have to come out.
Negita!
Trust me. I do not want you to die. You'll feel better now.
Thank you.
2 days you'll be well enough to travel. Then we'll head for Dodge.
No.
Why then do you save him? If only to take him back to die? That is cruelty.
To Count Coup. To win him much honor. So that he can speak of his bravery around the council fires at night. Kill him, Little Elk. I ask it because I cannot.
No, I will not kill him, but I will send him away.
Bullhead must come back to Dodge with me.
I have told you, he is without blame.
And I have promised that he would be judged fairly.
And that he would be returned to his people.
I told you I cannot promise that. But I will do everything I can to make it so.
Bullhead is free now. Why should that be changed? You will return without him.
All right. But I warn you, if he does not come back to Dodge to answer to the law, they will send soldiers. You know what will happen then?
We are not afraid of soldiers. We can fight.
Must your whole tribe suffer for one man?
If that must be. For he is without blame. Go.
I will leave. But I will tell my people that Bullhead will come to Dodge when he's well enough to travel. Until the sun is high, 4 days from now. Farewell.
Well, Marshal Earp, it's past noon. Where is he?
Yeah, where is he, Marshal?
You know that Indians don't carry watches.
What kind of a fool are you anyway, expecting a savage to give himself up?
Mr. Walters, I guess I was hoping more than expecting.
I don't think you expecting at all. Because I don't think you went to that Cheyenne camp. So we'll have to go after Bullhead. And if because of all this wasted time he's given us the slip, we'll be back to talk to you, Earp.
You're talking to me right now, Mr. Walters. I'm going to tell you all the same thing I told you before. Any man that goes into that Indian territory is going to go to jail.
You can't put the whole town in jail.
Oh, you bet you can, Marshal.
I'm warning you, Walters.
Well, save your breath. If you want to know what I think, Marshal, I think you're a coward. I think you're afraid to go in there after Bullhead.
What? What?
It's Bullhead. Little Elk. Put down those guns. Put him down!
Little Elk.
My brother has come so that all may know the truth, and so that his tribe need not suffer for him. You will remember your promise, white man?
He will be judged fairly. I will see to it.
It will be well if you do, or if you do not.
Look at there. Mountains are covered with Indians.
They brought the whole tribe.
Agora.
Follow me.
Those the boys you brought to back up your story?
They can say I speak the truth.
All right, inside.
The jail?
That's right. We'll be safe until the hearing this afternoon.
Earp and all his Indians. Here they come. Yeah.
I have Earp wouldn't like it.
Why, you with your lover. You too, Shotgun. You're just another Indian.
Hey, where do you think you're going?
I got a right to go in there. He was my friend.
All right, let him in. The rest of you stay outside.
What's the matter with us? Stay out. Come on now. Why can't we go in?
And then he said he would shoot me, that I would be dead before my friends could help me. I turned to my horse, and that is when he shot me. He was going to shoot me again, but I knocked the gun away and leaped upon him and drove the knife into him. And that is all. I did not want to kill him, but I'm not sorry.
Do you actually believe a cock and bull story like that?
Mr. Walters, I must remind you, this is a court of law. Besides, the story is plausible. We all know that Canyon was crazy about his racehorses, that he had to have only the fastest.
Besides, what possible motive did he have? He'd already won most of Mr. Canyon's money.
Since when does a savage need a motive for killing? They've been spreading blood across this West for a generation.
Mr. Walters, we cannot allow past events to prejudice us. We are here only to consider the killing of Milt Canyon, nothing more.
Well, there's not an ounce of proof for his story.
But there is, Your Honor.
Can you explain that, Marshal Earp?
The proof is in Bullhead's back. Stand up, Bullhead. Turn around. Lift up your shirt. You see that wound? Bullhead was shot in the back. That proves he had to be attacked first. He was shot in the back as he tried to get on his horse.
How do you know that's a bullet wound in his back?
Because I took the bullet out. And there's proof, Your Honor.
Well, seems there's nothing more to say. The court calls it justifiable homicide. Case dismissed.
Mr. Walters, starting Indian trouble means trouble for everybody.
All right, make an aisle through there. Shotgun taking one of their horses. Break it up.
Get out of the way.
All right, Marshal, what's the verdict?
Justifiable homicide. Case dismissed.
That's what we was afraid of. If Judge Tobin is scared of them Cheyennes, we ain't. We aim to see justice done.
Oh, you do you? Well, Bullhead killed Canyon in self-defense. Ask Walters. Go on, ask him if it isn't true.
Walt, is it?
Yeah, it's true.
Thanks, Mr. Walters.
Mandao.
You tell Little Elk that after this, he should trust the white man's law.
Mandao.
Pagachit, aye! I hope the day will come when they always count.
Yeah, I hope so.
The killing of Skinner Smith, Lone Shark, Skinflint, and the most disliked man in Dodge City presented Marshal Earp with the strangest murder mystery of his career. Public opinion was all on the side of the murderer. People thought Skinner Smith deserved killing, and Wyatt found himself almost alone in his determination to solve the case.
We just want to see if Skinner's really dead.
Too good to be true.
Be a good sport, Mr. Gibbs. Let us in.
Nope. Wyatt and Doc McCarty's in there. I got strict orders to keep all of you out. Now, why don't you move along? Get along.
Well?
Let's just say he died of heart failure. And good riddance.
Doc? It was poison, wasn't it?
I guess so. Well, this town loathed him. Skinner Smith had it coming.
Well, it's not for you or I to say. My job's to find out how he got that poison.
Wyatt, can't you let it drop?
Nope.
All right. Here. I found it in his hand.
Plug of chewing tobacco. The killer poison this?
I suspect so. Just call it heart failure. Save a lot of trouble.
You can't do that. You're the coroner. Is there any way of testing this for poison?
Look, Wyatt. Smith was the meanest man in Dodge. If you do find the one responsible for this, he'll be a public hero. Why get involved? I'm willing to sign the death certificate.
You just think you are. Look, I don't know anything good about Smith either. But murder's murder, and we're public officials.
All right. It'll take me a half a day to test for poison. But as you say, I'm coroner, and I get paid $10 a month.
You never signed a phony death certificate in your life. Now do your duty, coroner.
All right, you folks move back and let the doctor. Stay back here. Hey, cut that out and go about your business. Loudmouth busybodies.
Doc thinks he was poisoned.
Strychnine?
He's making an analysis.
I hope it is strychnine. Got any idea who done it?
No? But you take these pawn tickets and work on them. I'll work on the ledger. We got a list as clients.
You want me to arrest everybody in town who admits they threatened they wanted to kill Skinner?
No, Mr. Gibbs, but just try and find somebody that had a fight with him recently.
Well, I'll have to arrest myself then.
You?
You want to hear some of the names I called Skinner?
Not right now, Mr. Gibbs. Come on, let's go to work. All right, pack up. You pawned your saddle to him. And later on, I heard you threatened to kill him.
Yeah, I threatened to kill him. He sold my saddle because I was 2 days late in redeeming it.
But you didn't kill him?
No. Just never got around to it, Marshal.
And that isn't all, Mr. Erb. Skinner charged me $5 a week interest on the ring. When I paid him off, I found out that he'd put a phony diamond in place of the real one.
Why don't you come to me about this?
It's his word against mine. I figured that when my gentleman friend got in from the drive, he'd even things with Skinner.
Yes, sir, I did say he ought to be shot.
Why?
He dug up an old note that he said, "Dear Miss Dora, may God rest her lovely soul," still owed him. I tore it up and slapped his face.
Yeah. One of nature's noblemen, Skinner Smith.
I wish you'd be practical. If you did find the man who did it, how would you get a jury to convict him?
Well, that's their job, Mr. Kelly. My duty's done when I bring the murder to trial.
Bad cess to you. That's Irish for hoping you never solved the case.
Oh, I'll solve it. I'm stubborn that way. Thank you, Mr. Kelly.
Honey, where's your buggy?
Around the corner. What's wrong? There's no one here. You can tell me now.
I've saved enough money. Why don't we get married?
That again.
Yeah. Only this time, I've got to get out of town, Janie.
Clark, you're not in any trouble at the bank, are you?
No, of course not. It's... Well, I'm asking you to trust me, Janie. To marry me now, today.
Clark, you know that's impossible. Grandpa had another spell with his heart this morning.
Grandpa. It's always Grandpa.
He hasn't much longer, Clark. I'm the only one he has to take care of him.
I'm sorry. He doesn't think much of me, but I'm right fond of him.
Well, I don't defend Grandpa. He has some notions that I ought to marry a soldier or a fighting marshal like Mr. Earp. Clark, I love you, but you're going to have to be patient and understand.
All right. I'll try.
Not here, please. You better get back inside.
See those crystals? Prussic acid, and perhaps some strychnine. Enough to kill a horse. One bite at that plug did for Skinner. You found any suspects?
Couple of dozen. Haven't talked to a man or woman that isn't a suspect.
Men.
Well, how'd you make out?
Oh, I talked to about 20 people. They all denied killing him, but they regretted being so shiftless and lazy.
The only way you can narrow it down is to find someone who had access to poison in undiluted form.
What about your patients, Doctor? Don't you prescribe strychnine, prussic acid?
Very small amounts. I couldn't help you anyway. Confidential relation between doctor and patient.
Yeah. Well, what are you so cheerful about?
Killing Skinner is a public service. I think Doc done it.
Arrest me, Marshal.
Gentlemen, murder is not funny. Mr. Gibbs, you and the deputies don't get any time off until we solve this case.
You know, Doc, I believe in enforcing the law with reasonable moderation. Old White there, he's got the stern moral character of a bloodhound.
I will have to help him, Shotgun. He is right, you know.
I know he is. Doc, you got any smart ideas on this thing?
No, but I'll check my records. 11 patients to see, and I play detective. Give White a tip. Suggest that he look on the respectable side of town. This is no tramp's job.
Thank you, Doc.
Grandfather, you stop that right now. You know Dr. McCarty told you not to do any work.
I've been a hard-working man all my life, and now I can't even fix a little chair.
Now, don't you go giving me any trouble. I've had enough with Clark.
He's still pestering you about marrying him?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you're so set on it, go ahead.
Well, I'm not, but I am worried.
Hmm?
Well, something's wrong with Clark. He's acting strange. He wants me to marry him and leave Dodge right away.
Oh. It can't be that he's stealing from a bank. That'd take a certain amount of courage.
Well, Clark has courage. Too much courage.
Fush now.
He is. He's been gambling.
Euchre for penny ante.
No, poker with some cattlemen in a back room at the Dodge Hotel.
Maybe he did kill Skinner Smith.
Grandpa, that's not a very nice joke.
Nope. And I ain't a very nice old man. I wish Clark had killed him. I'd have more respect for the boy.
Did you take your medicine today, Grandpa?
McCarty's pap? Smell my breath.
Oh, whiskey, Grandpa. So that's why you made that joke about Clark.
I'm as high as a hoot owl.
Oh, Grandpa.
Ms. Rod Morris, $15. All right, here's some bigger ones back here. J.B. Olson, $175. Alex Griffith, $200. You think we're getting any warm on this?
Olson and Griffith marked paid?
Yeah, both of them.
Well, let's start on the delinquent accounts. Those are the ones that Skinner might have pushed too hard. Look. Clark borrowed $50 from Skinner May 18th. Paid it back with $20 interest, June 3rd.
Look at this one over here. Borrowed $100 from him a couple of weeks ago. Skinner's got him marked delinquent.
I better have a talk with Clark.
Well, don't do it at the bank. It might be a little embarrassing.
No, I'll...
Why, Mr. Hookham says Clark just left on the eastbound stage. He ain't checked the cash yet, but he's afraid...
You watch the jail. Mr. Matthews, the bank thinks you ought to postpone your trip for a few days.
Thank you, Marshal. I told Mr. Holcomb I'd better wait.
Mr. Casey, would you hand his bag down? Give it to our friend Shotgun there. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Casey. Come on up here.
You know. Oh. Ah.
You lost a lot of money gambling? You couldn't go to the bank to borrow it where you work, so you borrowed it from Skinner Smith.
Paid Skinner every dime I owe him, and with interest.
Go on.
Then he started blackmailing me. Threatened to tell my boss I'd been gambling. I didn't kill him.
Well, I'm going to have to hold you.
I know it.
You better let me notify Miss Janey and Grandpa Logan.
Oh, no, sir. Please.
Well, they're going to find out about it anyway. You may need a lawyer.
Do you think I killed him, Mr. Earp?
Still haven't told me why you tried to run away.
No, sir. I never will.
Well, the
law says you don't have to. Come on. Mr. Gibbs, I do feel you may need a lawyer. Mr. Gibbs, we're going to hold Mr. Matthews. Suspicion of murder. Put him in a cell by himself.
Son, why don't you make a clean breast of the whole thing?
Said all I'm gonna say.
Janie, don't try it. Give me my rifle and I'll...
No, Grandpa, they might shoot at you. I'll get Clark out of there in 2 minutes.
Hello, Wyatt.
Hello, Doc.
Well, you probably arrested the right man.
Oh? Why do you say that?
He was one of my patients. Under oath in a murder trial, I'd have to testify that he had access to poison.
You missing any strychnine or prussic acid?
I'm not under oath yet. Oh, I hate this business.
Yeah, well, so do I. Maybe I can get him to confess. I'll have another try at it anyway. Thanks.
You're so welcome.
You give me those keys.
I ain't got them, sis.
Are you telling me the truth?
Marshal Earp has the keys.
Where'd he go?
Doc McCarty's. Why don't you rest yourself, Miss Janie? Them old big buffalo guns is mighty hefty for a gal like you to be lugging around.
Oh, that's just a trick to disarm me.
No, I ain't gonna try that. I just want you to light somewheres. Why don't you have a seat on that bench over there?
Oh, no. Did I hurt you?
No, Miss Janie. A little gal like you shouldn't be carrying around a loaded rifle. Mr. Gibbs, you take Miss Janie on home. Tell her grandfather he can have his rifle back in the morning.
Clark didn't do it. I know he didn't.
Easy now, sis.
You turn him loose. You can't make him confess to something he didn't do.
Clark's gonna need a lawyer, Miss Janie. You tell Grandpa Logan that.
Come along, sis.
Can't I even talk to him, please?
Not now. In the morning.
You shouldn't be a deacon in our church. You're heartless and cruel and mean.
Pete, bring Mr. Matthews in here. Pete, you take off.
Yes, Marshal. I heard a shot. Grandpa Logan been here?
No, it was Miss Janie. I sent her home with Mr. Gibbs. Sit down. Mr. Matthews, I've advised the Logans to get you a lawyer. You had a very strong motive for killing Mr. Smith. I think I can prove you had access to poison.
All right. You prove that.
Why don't you tell me the whole story? I think Judge Tobin will be lenient.
No, sir.
You still don't want to tell me why you tried to run away, huh?
Marshal, I've talked too much already.
You trying to shield someone?
Now, you just do what you have to do, Mr. Earp.
Listen, why don't you confess and get this whole miserable business over with? I can promise you an easy sentence, maybe a parole. Judge Tobin will be here tomorrow. Look, what's the sense in forcing this to trial? Skinner Smith was a low-down, worthless character, but you put on me the burden of seeing that you're punished more than you should be. I don't expect you to consider my feelings, but what about Miss Janie? Don't you care about her?
I'm sorry, Marshal. Can I go back to the cell now?
All right. But you think about this.
Grandfather, don't you even feel sorry for Clark?
Sorry. I was beginning to admire the boy.
You're what?
Shotgun Gibbs says that he ain't confessed. That proves he's got real sand. Yep, I was wrong about Clark.
Then you think he's guilty?
Not the point at all, Janie.
Grandfather, are you yourself?
The point is that if Clark don't confess, they'll have to turn him loose.
Even after they caught him running out of town?
Don't signify, Janie. They got nothing but circumstantial evidence against Clark. No matter what Wyatt Earp tries to link together, the jury will acquit him hands down.
Then you will hire a lawyer for him?
Yes. Old Joe Garrison. The best lawyer in the whole state of Kansas. It's a sheer waste of money, though.
Of course it is, Grandfather. But at least I can sleep easy now.
I'm half asleep myself.
You've had your nightcap. Come on.
Help me, darling. Oh, it's way past my bedtime. You know, that Wyatt Earp might be a first-class man with a gun, but he ain't no legal genius. He'll get his comeuppance tomorrow.
I hope so, Grandfather.
Well, morning, Judge.
Howdy, Wyatt.
I got a murder case for you.
No? Well, who's the victim?
Skinner Smith.
That's logical. I warned Smith to leave Dodge months ago. Who killed him?
Young fellow works over the bank, Clark Matthews. It's only circumstantial evidence, though.
Well, let's go over and have breakfast, and you tell me all about it, huh?
Yes, sir.
I link blackmail to the fact that Clark Matthews tried to run away. And the further fact that Doc McCarty admits that he had access to poison.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to have to ask you for a bench warrant charging Mr. Matthews with first-degree murder.
Yes, I suppose you do.
It's a sound circumstantial case, isn't it?
If anyone but Skinner or Smith were the victim.
You mean a jury may not convict?
That's about it.
Well, how about a change of venue to some other town?
Well, I can't order that. Not unless you're willing to testify that the citizens of Dodge have made threats against you in the court.
No, sir.
Change of venue is customarily the right of the defendant, not the prosecution.
Well, I have no case.
Well, frankly, Wyatt, I don't even think you have the right suspect.
How's that?
Now, you suggested the possibility that Matthews was shielding someone. Hasn't it occurred to you that someone killed Smith to shield Matthews?
Well,
You said I could see Clark today.
yes, sir. Oh, I think you've met Judge Tobin?
Yes, I have. How are you, sir?
Fine, thank you. And how's your grandpa?
Well, he's worse, I'm afraid.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Marshal Earp didn't help any when he arrested Clark. Grandfather had a very bad night. I had to send for Dr. McCarty.
Wyatt, I'll arrange for Miss Jane to see young Matthews. I suggest that you go on over and pay a visit to Grandpa Logan. He's a wonderful old man, and I think you owe him that courtesy.
Oh, yes, sir. I'll go right away.
But don't you mention Skinner Smith.
No, ma'am, I'll be careful.
Howdy, Doc.
Morning.
How's Grandpa Logan?
Not good. Not well enough to be questioned.
I just stopped by for a social visit.
Well, he hasn't got much time left. Day, week.
Well, I won't stay long enough to tire him.
Good.
Grandpa Logan?
Yep. Who is it?
Wyatt, sir.
Come in, Wyatt. Howdy. Did you hang that boy yet?
No, sir. Not yet.
Well, I was afraid he'd confess. So I reckon I'd better tell. Read it.
The doctor said it was prussic acid.
Mostly strychnine. With some rattlesnake venom. Every time I went downtown, that Skinner would grub a chaw of tobacco from me. The other day I told him, take the whole thing. He took it. Yes, sir, he took the whole grub and chaw and tobacco.
How'd you know Skinner was trying to blackmail young Matthews?
No. That twisty skunk. He told me Clark had threatened him. I called that boy on the carpet, and I told him, you leave the killing to one who's poisoned coyotes and wolves. You fetch me my cane, Marshal. I'll go along with you.
No, sir. I'm burning this. But I don't want you to write anymore, Mr. Logan.
Well, now, I thank you kindly. For Janie's sake, I mean.
Yes, sir. For Miss Janie.
Shake hands with Mr. Hurd. Thank you.
After all the trouble he's caused, I certainly will not.
You seem mighty sure.
Yes, sir, Mr. Matthews, I am very sure. Don't you tell anyone, ever. This is a case for a good judge and a good lord. I'm just a deacon.
Thank you, sir.
Toughest decision Wyatt Earp ever had to make as a peace officer in Dodge was what to do about Rocky Griswold and his gang of saddle tramps. Hank Drew, Deputy U.S. Marshal, posing as an outlaw, had lured Rocky into attempting the robbery of a Santa Fe gold shipment. Under the law, this would be a plain case of entrapment, an illegal trick to capture outlaws for reward money. But on the frontier of 1878, many believed that a John Law should use any method to halt a robbery.
Shotgun at 9 o'clock, I want you to turn Saunders and McGeehan loose. You give them back their guns. Tell them I want them out of town by sunup. Yes, sir. Can I help you?
I'd like to talk to you alone if you're Marshal Earp.
I'm Marshal Earp. Mr. Gibbs, you take patrol, huh?
Good. I like any excuse to get out of this office for a spell.
Hank Drew, Deputy U.S. Marshal, Topeka, Kansas.
That's right.
Have a chair, sir.
Oh, that's the story. I've been living with Griswold and his boys near a month now. They trust me.
Well, you must be quite an actor, Mr. Drew.
It was my tip on the gold shipment that won Rocky over. He's needing money for grub.
Did Chief Marshal Hendon assign you to this deal?
Sure, why not?
Because it's entrapment, Mr. Drew. You're urging men to commit a crime so you can catch them. I think you're just a bounty hunter.
Well, your Sunday school ideas don't interest me, Earp. You got to cooperate.
I do?
I'll give you a cut of the reward money. Now, you get out. You still got to go along with me. You keep acting stupid and I'll spell it out for you.
Mr. Drew, you want to lose some teeth?
I'll be back, Earp. With orders.
Marshal Earp?
Yes.
Mr. Earp, I'm Joan Deming. My father owns the Bar W in Wyoming. He's coming in for more cattle and asked me to meet him here.
Yes, sir. Sit down.
Thank you. That man who was just here, who is he?
I'm afraid I can't tell you that, ma'am.
Well, he calls himself Hank Drew. He rides with Rocky Griswold.
Griswold. Cowhand, isn't he? Texas Circle Star outfit?
And he's a hard times in the cattle business. He got fired. Why would Hank Drew be talking to the law?
Why would you?
Mr. Earp, Rocky and his friends don't have jobs. They've appointed Rocky their boss, and I think Hank has persuaded them to do something wrong. I want you to stop them.
Wouldn't you have more influence?
No, I've tried. I've been buying food for the camp. There's not much money left. I don't trust Hank. I think he's the kind that would talk Rocky into robbing a bank or something and then tell the law.
Miss Joan, one thing I can tell you, and that is that if Mr. Griswold is interested in you, he'll listen to you. Now, you try again.
I'll tell Rocky I saw Hank talking to you. Maybe that'll...
No, don't do that. Rocky's liable to shoot him. There's still plenty of time for them to call off what they're planning. Now, if Rocky has it in him to keep straight, Hank Drew can't talk him into going crooked.
I'll give it another try. Thanks, Mr. Earp.
I have to send this telegram. I'll walk you over to your hotel.
We'll go up to his office, see if we can find him. Oh, here's Wyatt now. Wyatt, gotta talk to you about something very important. Not only do you have the word of Deputy Marshal Drew, but you've heard from Mr. Caslin what he thinks about it. Mr. Caslin happens to be the chief special agent for the railroad.
I know Mr. Caslin.
You're quibbling over ethics, Wyatt.
I risked my life to catch those criminals.
And he's still risking it. One word to the Griswold gang and he's a dead man.
Wyatt isn't betraying a marshal.
Well, I ain't none too sure of that.
Let you and I step outside, Mr.
I'll have none of that. You hold your temper, Wyatt.
Will you hold yours for a second? Now, Drew is a scalp hunter and a liar, Mr. Caslin. The so-called Griswold gang is a bunch of starving cowhands, not criminals. Now, Drew set up the whole job himself and talked them into it. Even if you caught him red-handed, you couldn't make your case stick. Judge Tobin would rule it entrapment.
That's for the court to decide.
I'll have no more argument. I'm mayor of this town. I hired you and I can fire you.
Then fire me.
All right. Hold it, all of you. I want to talk to Wyatt alone. Now, Mr. Kelly, why don't you and Drew go over the Long Branch and, well, kind of settle your nerves, huh?
I'm still the mayor. Caslin will settle his hash.
That Irishman. Every time a real issue comes up, he backslays it. Now, you know the Santa Fe isn't going to go along with this frame-up.
Not if I had time. The bullion shipment goes east at noon tomorrow. There'll be special agents on the train, and more with a stage at Hayes City.
Well, then call it off. All you got to do is send a telegram.
There's Drew. Now, I can't take the responsibility of having him killed.
No. This is Chief Marshal Hendon's fault. I should get a reply from him first thing in the morning.
Drew's probably been lying to his boss, and all you'll get is a promise to investigate. Now, Wyatt, are you sure the Griswold outfit is just a bunch of cowhands and not men with records?
No, sir, I'm not positive, but one point I am going to insist on.
Yes?
If they do ride into this trap tomorrow, I don't want any shooting. I want them alive.
Well, that's fine with us. Our job is to protect Santa Fe shipments. But if Griswold does start some gunplay, I'm afraid I can't guarantee.
Well, sir, my deputies and I, we might give you that guarantee.
You'd fight on the side of train robbers?
Mr. Caslin, if officers don't respect the law, how are you going to get outlaws to? Now, Mr. Drew is bringing a rotten deal into my town, and one way or the other, he's going to regret it. I'll try and keep you out of this mess if I can, but don't you start the shooting.
Nothing real serious below the line, Wyatt. Had to dunk a few drunks in a water trough. Say, they tell me Caslin of the Santa Fe's in town.
Yeah, I was just talking to him. Yeah, I got a job for you. I want you to catch 2 a.m. freight. East Junction. You send that telegram from there.
Pinkerton Agency, St. Joe, Missouri. Yeah, heap easier to send it from here, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it sure would, but Mr. Kirby over at the telegraph office talks too much.
Yeah.
I got a real long story to tell you when you get back.
Say, Wyatt, I sure would like to take the boomer back down here. Of course, fare'd be up around 80 cents.
Well, I think we can afford that, Mr. Gibbs. You just take the boomer. I want you to get back here in plenty of time in the morning, though. There may be trouble.
That boomer will get me back here on time.
Hey, boss, are we out of coffee?
I don't know. Look at Hank's grub sack. He ought to have some.
Got no coffee. Some beans and some moldy salt pork. Where is Hank?
He should be back any time now.
You reckon Herb nabbed him?
Oh, Hank Drew's too smart.
Hey, here comes Miss Joni.
Howdy, Miss Joni.
Howdy, Miss Joni.
I asked you not to come back here.
You're hungry, aren't you?
Hi, Joni.
Hello, Tex. Eat hearty.
Grub. Oh, bless your little soul.
Hands off.
What?
We're not taking any more charity from Miss Deming.
You don't have to eat it.
Oh, we're hungry, boss.
All right, if you got no more pride.
We'll pay Joni back in gold. Food, fellas, we eat.
Rocky, what did Tex mean when he said you'd pay me back in gold?
Nothing.
Hank Drews talked you into robbing a bank or something.
I ask you to forget me. I ask you to stay in town.
I saw him in Dodge last night. He was talking to... So what you're up to doesn't fool me.
All right?
You'll be caught. You'll be sent to prison.
Well, I said all right.
If you really feel that way, then you're not worth bothering about. The other boys elected you to find them jobs, not to lead them into a trap set by Hank Drew.
Trap? Are you loco?
He'd do it, Rocky.
No, he wouldn't. He likes living. Now, come on, get on your horse.
If you'll give up this idea, I'll marry you today.
Oh, sure. And live on what? Handouts from your dad?
No, my father will hire you as his foreman. He'll hire all those boys.
Your father's almost broke, Joni.
Broke? He is not. Who told you such a thing?
Come on, there's no use arguing. Come on. Now, you're gonna get up on this horse.
Here's Drew now. He sold you out. I saw him in Marshal Earp's office last night. Ask him if he wasn't in Wyatt Earp's office last night.
Get down, Hank. Watch your hands.
We got nothing to quarrel about, Rocky.
Come on. This side. Come on.
What's wrong, Rocky?
Miss Deming says she saw Hank talking to Wyatt Earp.
You double-cross...
Hold it, Joe. You want to call Miss Deming a liar?
I sure don't. I had to talk to her.
How's that?
I forgot to check my gun like a greenhorn fool. One of Earp's deputies picked me up. Earp didn't search me, though. Here's the map to the Santa Fe depot. It's all you need for the job.
What'd you talk to Earp about?
Oh, nothing much. Chewed me out for packing a gun, let me off without a fine.
Give me a gun.
Sure.
All right, now we'll talk this thing over and put it to a vote. I'm in favor of a fair trial. Come on.
I don't think these cattlemen have any records. The Pinkertons are sending a man so that Drew can't put over any false identification on us. But I'm still hoping that Miss Jones talked Griswold out of it.
What if she hadn't?
Well, we could meet him outside of town, but that'd mean a fight. I think our best bet is to let him hit the station. And we'll try and push in between Griswold's bunch and Caslin's agents.
Protecting train robbers against Santa Fe special agents?
You heard the order, didn't you?
Now, we got to go along with this entrapment. I'm part of a dirty deal, but I don't want to make it any dirtier than I have to by shooting up the Griswold bunch. I trust Caslin, but I don't know whether he can control his agents.
Oh, I get it, Mr. Earp. We sucker Griswold into an attempted robbery, but we don't bushwhack him.
That's right. It's not a very nice distinction, but that's the best we can do at the moment. Well, let's start loading the shotguns, huh?
Yep. All right, you've heard Hank's story and the whole plan. Should we trust him or call it off?
Rocky, I've sponged my last grub from Miss Joan or anybody else. I can't live on air waiting for the cattle business to start up again.
Oh, you're right, Ted.
Certainly we
can.
can.
All right.
You vote for taking the gold?
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Done. Okay, Hank, you'll ride with us. But no gun. Now, if you have sold us out, when the shooting starts, you'll be riding in front. Come on, boys.
Any luck, Miss Joni?
I'm not sure. Can't we talk inside?
Mr. Gibbs, you take the boys on over to the station. Come on, Miss Joni.
I broke my promise, Mr. Earp. I told Rocky I saw Hank talking to you.
Why'd you do that?
I tried everything else. I offered to marry Rocky, but it was the same thing.
Did you suggest that Drew might be selling him out?
Yes. He said Hank wouldn't dare, that he wanted to stay alive.
Did he admit that Drew planned the robbery?
There was common talk around camp that Hank was planning something.
That may do it.
Do what?
I'll tell you in a second.
Why'd send you here to help us?
That all depends. Why, I don't want nobody shot.
Well, you go back and tell him I can handle this. You interfere, and there's going to be trouble.
Mister, I got my orders. Boys, the stage will unload over yonder. If Griswold comes, he'll have to round that corner. We'll just wait over here behind this wagon. Now, you boys just rest easy. Wyatt wants this done his way.
What's wrong?
We'll take another look at this map. You sure you decoyed Earp out of town?
At 11 o'clock, Cy Brislin's gonna come busting into town yelling big stage robbery north of Dodge.
Well, we'll have time to be sure Earp and his men have gone. Anything else, Tex?
Yeah. Looky yonder.
It's Earp. Get him.
Hold it, hold it.
Marshal Drew, you're under arrest.
Marshal Drew.
That's right. U.S. Deputy Marshal. Repeat. I said you under arrest, mister. You get down from there.
You can't arrest me, Earp.
Now move over there. You're charged with suborning a felony. You planned a Santa Fe holdup and encouraged those men to try it.
You dirty double-crosser. Get him, Rocky.
Hold it, Tex.
Don't be a fool. Marshal Earp will send Hank to prison.
Yeah, and what happens to us?
You can do as he tells you, or ride into ambush at the station, or turn around and run for Texas.
Mr. Griswold, I'm going to need your testimony in order to convict Drew. Are any of your men wanted in this state?
Well, I don't know.
What's the matter with you, Rocky? Letting one John Law run a bluff on us? Get him and Drew and let's get out of here.
Hold on, Tex.
No!
You'll have to shoot me first.
Get back, Tony. Get back. I bungled this, trusting Drew. And you men feel like shooting cut loose on me.
It was a crazy idea, boss. We're all to blame.
Thanks, Joe. Now we do as Earp says.
Mr. Griswold, get one of your men to patch him up. Get on your horse.
Take care of him, Joe.
And I'm saying Rocky Griswold and every one of his men are wanted for robbery and cattle stealing. Earp had no right to arrest me. I'm a deputy U.S. Marshal trying to do my duty. Earp should be arrested for interfering with a federal officer. I'm charging you with obstruction of justice.
It's a clear case, and don't say I didn't warn you, Wyatt.
I'm sorry, Mr. Kelly, but he stays in jail until Judge Tobin gets here.
No, I'm not. I'm walking out of here right now.
Wyatt, he can sue the city.
From prison, let him sue.
Wyatt, you're taking a pretty big gamble. Now, supposing Griswold and his boys run out on you, what then?
I don't know. Maybe I'll go to jail.
You can't trust a John Law to keep his word. Look at Drew.
And I can't trust you. You started out to be a criminal this morning. Mr. Earp stopped you. He's giving you a chance to be an honest man or an outlaw.
Maybe he is.
Mr. Earp's in a tight corner. He's counting on you and the boys to tell the truth about Hank Drew. Either you be in court or forget about me.
Marshal Earp, Mr. Drew, will you please step forward? Mr. Earp, this court does not condone entrapment or suborning a felony. But Mr. Drew is denied under oath that he plotted the robbery or encouraged the Griswold outfit to attempt it. And Mr. Caston has stated that he has no direct knowledge of Deputy Marshal Drew's work in uncovering this robbery scheme. Mr. Caston, the court understands that you merely had a tip from the Chief Marshal's office in Topeka?
That's right, sir. But Wyatt did protest to me that Drew...
Hearsay and irrelevant. Mr. Drew, according to the testimony offered here, was acting as an undercover man, a function of police work. Marshal Earp, in the absence of supporting testimony, this court must find you guilty of obstructing justice.
Order!
Order! Order!
Your Honor, I'm Rocky Griswold. I want to tell you the truth about this man, Hank Drew.
You tell the truth. You're a wanted outlaw, and so are all your men.
Quiet!
Your Honor, if the court please.
Yes?
Before Mr. Griswold testifies, I'd like to call Mr. Jacobs of the Pinkerton Detective Agency.
For what purpose?
Mr. Drew here claims that Mr. Griswold and all his men are wanted men. And Mr. Jacobs is here through the courtesy of Mr. Allen Pinkerton to give the court proper identification.
Very well. Mr. Drew, Mr. Griswold, take your seats. Let Mr. Jacobs take the stand. Place your hand on the Bible. You swear to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Sit down.
Mr. Drew, I say that this man sitting there is Mr. Harry Griswold, who's worked as ramrod for various cattlemen. Now, who do you say he is?
I say he's Harold Griffin, alias Rocky Turner. Wanted for cattle stealing and bank robbery.
Mr. Jacobs, do you have any file on a Mr. Griffin or a Mr. Turner?
Yes, I know Rocky Turner. Griswold is not Turner. You can see for yourself, Judge.
Mr. Drew, of this entire group, you have correctly identified just one man, Tex Oliver. He's wanted in Missouri for violating his parole.
Well, the Pinkertons say so don't make it the truth.
The court believes Mr. Jacobs' testimony. The court also believes what Mr. Griswold and Marshal Earp have said about you. Marshal Earp.
Yes, sir?
You will hold Mr. Drew for trial on charges of perjury and suborning a felony. Court's adjourned.
Thank you, Mr.
Sure got a nice day for traveling. Well, I'd better turn off here, get back to my job. I wish you both a lot of luck.
I still can't understand why you went to all that trouble.
Well, Miss Joni, wants a husband.
That's not the reason.
Goodbye, ma'am.
Why did he do it?
Not for us. He did it for the law, to keep it honest and fair.
Dodge City was primitive in many ways. Entertainment was usually of the roughest sort, and culture was a word almost unknown. Still, the thirst for beauty existed even here, and when beauty came to town, it excited strong emotion and meant trouble for Wyatt Earp.
Morning, Hack.
Morning.
Who's coming on the train? The president?
You'd think so, wouldn't you, boy? Just some fool actress. Ain't you seen the signs?
Oh, yeah, you can hardly miss them. They're plastered all over town.
Darn fools.
Well, I don't know. Now, if this little actress is half as good as they claim she is, why, she's worth coming down to see.
Ain't none of them worth seeing. Not since Annie Birdwell, anyways.
Who's Annie Birdwell?
Must have been before your time, boy, or you'd have knowed. A real looker. Traveled with Professor Alvarez's patent medicine show. She did a dance that never let me forget it. I tell you, boy, she was a caution. Annie Birdwell. They just don't put 'em together that way no more.
Well, hello, Tom.
Well, howdy, Mr. Earp.
You, going someplace?
Oh, you know better than that, White. I never go nowhere.
Well, I just thought, you're so spruced up.
I guess I'm here for the same reason you are, to see the train come in. Now, you come to see her, too, didn't you?
Well, you mean Miss Cora Campbell? Sure, why not? America's darling.
She's beautiful. She's the most beautiful woman who ever lived.
Oh, you've seen her, then?
Only her picture. I've got it right here. Oh, ain't she beautiful?
Yeah, you are right. She is beautiful.
Hey, here comes the train.
Here she comes.
Guys, I guess I'm pretty excited.
Well, don't expect too much, Tom.
Don't worry, White. I know she's a famous person just passing through, and I'm only a blacksmith.
Silversmith is more than just a blacksmith. Anyway, you're just as good an artist in your line as she is in hers.
Maybe, but I just want to see her, that's all. I just want to see her.
Welcome to Dodge, Miss Cora.
I have never seen anything so pretty.
You sure been waiting for this.
Would you hold it right here for a minute, Miss Campbell? We'd like to get a picture.
Oh, she's beautiful.
Be quiet. Miss Campbell wants to talk.
How nice of you all to come to meet me. I would have come to Dodge City sooner had I known the men here were so cultivated and so handsome.
I'll tend to anything Miss Campbell wants done. Shush, Tom.
Please, gentlemen.
Hold it, Tom. Wait a minute. You don't want to spoil Miss Cora's arrival by starting a fight, do you?
You're right, Mr. Earp.
Why, you must be the famous Marshal Earp.
That's my name, ma'am.
They didn't tell me that you were so handsome.
Your handkerchief, Miss Cora.
Thank you. Now, Marshal, if you would escort me to my carriage.
Hold it. Thank you, Miss Campbell. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Earp. Thank you. Thank you, all my darlings. Of course, you will come to see me at the theater. You'll come too, won't you, Marshal?
I'll try, ma'am.
All right, Driver.
Bronson? What are you doing here in Dodge?
Oh, stop it, Marshal. I've heard of you, but it didn't scare me.
I asked you a question. What are you doing here in Dodge?
Maybe I came to see you.
Try again.
You can't keep me out, Marshal. You got no charge against me.
Well, you see that it stays that way. For instance, in Dodge, you'd take off your guns.
That's the law, Marshal.
That's the law. And if you want to stay healthy, you'll leave them off.
Now, who does he think he is, anyway?
Nobody for you to tangle with. His name is Clay Bronson, gunfighter.
Well, if he thinks he can keep people away from Miss Cora, he's mistaken.
Maybe she likes it that way, Tom.
Why, she wouldn't even look at a man like that, Mr. Earp. Anybody can see that. Golly, isn't she beautiful? Even prettier than her pictures. Oh, Miss Campbell?
For me? Oh, they're lovely.
Well, there aren't any florists in Dodge, but...
You picked them yourself. You are a dear.
Well, I know you don't know who I am. I'm Tom Tanner. I thought maybe I could walk you back to your hotel. Oh, with the other lady, of course.
I'm sorry, but I do have another engagement. Perhaps I could meet you later for supper at my hotel.
Better hurry, it's starting to rain.
Just a minute.
I gotta talk to you, Marshal.
Oh, you're the lady that travels with Miss Cora Campbell, aren't you?
Her maid, yes, Mrs. Calloway.
Won't you sit down, Mrs. Calloway?
Thank you.
Now, what's your problem?
Talk to that boy, the one who was at the railroad station.
Tom Tanner?
That's the name he said. He's bothering Miss Campbell. I want you to keep him away.
Well, I know Tom Tanner. He's not the kind to bother anybody.
I tell you, he is. He's coming to the hotel tonight, and you got to keep him away.
If he's going there, it's because she asked him, right?
Yes, she asked him. All the time, knowing that...
Knowing that Mr. Bronson would start trouble.
It's just that she's young. All this attention's gone to her head. She's changed terrible.
What does this, Mr. Bronson mean to her?
Nothing, yet. But he followed her here from Abilene.
He's not the kind of a man to take no for an answer.
I know that. I've tried to tell her, but she seems to like the danger. You've got to keep that boy away.
Only she can do that.
Maybe if you'd talk to her.
Mrs. Calloway, I'm a peace officer, not a preacher. Only if there's trouble.
That's just it, Marshal. There will be, sure, and you know it. Please talk to her.
All right, I'll talk to her.
Thank you.
May I come in?
I'm flattered. Or is this an official visit, Marshal?
I just want to talk to you.
Oh, that's too bad. I thought maybe you were human after all.
Well, I'm human, all right. I think you're a very beautiful woman. Important, too. A lot more important than you think you are.
You are trying to flatter me, Marshal.
I'm just trying to point out the power you have. To make men happy. To hurt them.
Hurt?
That's right, hurt them. Mr. Tanner, for instance. He's infatuated with you. Enough to risk his life.
I can't help the way men feel about me, Marshal.
Oh, I'm sure of that, Miss Cora. But you can encourage them or send them away. I just thought maybe if you knew that Mr. Tanner was in danger, you might be willing to send him away. You have many admirers, Miss Cora. Mr. Tanner can't mean anything to you.
He's coming here in just a minute. But you know that, of course.
Yes, I know that.
If I call him in and send him away, I'll be without an escort for supper. Would you take his place, Marshal?
You think the fight would be much more interesting between Mr. Bronson and me, hmm?
I don't know what you mean.
Oh, sure you do. But what you don't know, Miss Cora, is that Mr. Bronson isn't an easygoing fellow like Mr. Tanner. You just can't send him away when you want to. I don't think you ought to get too involved with him.
You are full of advice, aren't you? Come in.
Mr. Tanner's here.
Say hello to the Marshal. Don't pretend you don't know him. And don't think I don't know who brought him here. Now send him in. You stay. You ask for this.
Miss Campbell, I brought you a present.
Put it down.
Oh, Mr. Erb.
Now get out.
But I thought we were going to have supper.
You thought Cora Campbell would go to supper with a country bumpkin like you? Stop dreaming.
I guess I was mistaken.
Well, sonny boy, your dream's over. I prefer a mature man like the Marshal there.
You and Mr. Erb? I don't believe it.
I don't care what you believe. Just get out.
Come on, Tom.
Wait a minute. I think I understand now. You put her up to it, Mr. Erb, because of Bronson. I knew she didn't mean it.
Now, look, Tom, there are
You
many
won't
things...
get away with it. I'm not going to give her up. I'm not afraid of Bronson. You want to fight, mister? I'll fight you.
Now, look, Tom, you don't know what you're talking about. You go on home and cool off. Go on.
Well, if you want to fight, just let me know.
I'm not wearing guns, Marshal. But I've got a right to defend myself if somebody attacks me. He better keep away from me. And away from that lady, too. Let me have my key.
Marshal Earp!
Yeah, what is it?
Shotgun Gibb sent me to fetch you. He's found somebody in an alley beat up bad.
Who is it?
Tom Tanner. And he looks near dead.
How is he, Shotgun?
Oh, he'll pull through all right. He's sure gonna be sore. He got a darn good going over. He's a big man, too. Somebody must have hit him on the head and started kicking him while he was down.
You sent for the doc?
Yeah, couldn't. He's out in Miss Chambers' place delivering a baby. I'll take him over to the office and fix him up.
Fine. Let me in there. Tom? Tom, this is Wyatt. What happened? Who did it? Bronson?
I ain't gonna tell you, Mr. Erb. It's none of your business.
Don't be a fool. He's a gunslinger. You're lucky he didn't kill you.
Yeah? Well, I'm gonna kill him.
What with? Dreams? Miss Cora was right about you. Wake up. Look, Tom, you're a nice fella. You're a real fine silversmith, and you got a bright future. And you're gonna toss that all away and kill yourself over a girl that doesn't mean anything? Now, you wake up.
What? What are you gonna do?
Gonna find Bronson and kick him out of town like I should have in the first place.
Well, you may have to fight this time. After this, you can bet he'll be wearing his guns.
Well, I hope he is, and I can toss him in jail and fix him up.
Oh, it's you, Marshal.
I'm sorry to have frightened you, Mrs. Calloway.
What is it?
Oh, I'm afraid I frightened Mrs. Calloway. I'm looking for Mr. Bronson. Have you seen him?
Why, no, he didn't come to the theater tonight.
Thank you anyway. Sorry to have frightened you, Mrs. Calloway.
It's all right.
Well, I was just about ready to come looking for you. Where you been all this time?
Hunting high and low for Bronson.
Didn't find him yet, huh?
No, he just disappeared. It's funny.
Maybe not. Maybe he figured you was going to come looking for him. He decided he didn't want to face you.
Bronson's not that much of a coward.
Yeah, you never can tell about them gunslingers.
Marshal!
Sounds like Doc.
Well, Doc, you're up late.
Miss Chambers have her baby, Doc?
Yep. Something I want to show you, Wyatt. Take a look.
Say, that's Bronson.
Where'd you find him?
About a mile out of town alongside the road. But it passed right by him, my horse shied. Hadn't been dead more than a few hours.
Where'd you leave Tom Tanner?
His place. Blacksmith shop. You think he shot Bronson?
He couldn't have.
Why not?
Bronson wasn't shot. He was stabbed. With this. It's still in his chest.
Well, I guess that settles it. Ain't nobody around here does silver work like that except Tom Tanner. You want me to go with you, Wyatt?
No, I don't think you'll give me too much trouble.
Hello, Tom.
Oh, Mr. Earp. Come in.
You know why I'm here?
You're still mad at me.
That's not it.
No?
Bronson's dead.
How'd it happen?
Somebody killed him?
Well, that happens to gunfighters.
He wasn't shot, he was stabbed. With this. You ever see it before?
It's mine.
Yeah, I thought so. Nobody else's work is that good.
I threatened to kill him.
Did you?
Yes.
All right, let's go.
I'll get my things.
That way.
That ain't the way to the jail.
Never mind.
But this is a livery stable.
That's right.
I don't know what you're up to.
It's just a hunch.
I'm coming, but hammer in that door. What do you mean, getting a man out of bed in the middle of the night? What do you want? Hello, Marshal. What can I do for you?
I'd like to see inside.
Come on in. Come in, Marshal. Did you find what you're looking for?
Maybe. Can I borrow that lantern?
You sure can. You can borrow anything I've got, Wyatt. Hold it, and I'll get my coat and go along with you. Then I'll know where you left it.
That's the back entrance to the hotel over there, isn't it?
That's right.
Go ahead.
Shut the door.
Marshal Earp, Miss Campbell. He wants to talk to you.
Just a minute. Keep calm. Don't say anything. Come in. Is this any hour to come calling?
I'm sorry, Miss Cora. There's no need for this. I've told him.
Well, that'll be all, Tom. Thank you.
Oh, yes, Marshal, sure.
Miss Cora, earlier this evening, Mr. Tanner brought you a present. What was it?
A bracelet, a silver bracelet.
May I see it?
Here it is.
Anybody in town would tell you that isn't Mr. Tanner's work. He doesn't make bracelets.
I can, Marshal. I made that.
Besides, I saw you put this on before the present was unwrapped. Of course, Mr. Tanner does make fine silver work. Letter openers, for instance. Like this one. Did you ever see that before?
No, never.
Mr. Earp, why don't you leave her alone? I've already told you.
I know what you told me, Tom, and you're lying. You didn't kill Bronson. You couldn't have gotten close enough to stab him. You wouldn't let anybody get that close to him, except somebody you wasn't afraid of, like Miss Cora.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm talking about murder.
That's ridiculous. If Bronson is dead, why should I have wanted to kill him?
Maybe you had grown afraid of him.
You're only guessing, Marshal. You have no proof.
Miss Cora, tonight you were carrying something in your carriage. What was it?
Why, costumes.
Since when do costumes bleed? The floorboard of your carriage was covered with blood.
Mr. Earp, stop it.
And there's a trail of blood from your door down the back stairs to the alley, where you loaded the body into the carriage.
You're out of your mind.
You had to wait until after tonight's performance before you could drive outside of town to dump the body.
I said stop
I
it.
did it. I'm the one you're after.
Mama!
Cora, you can't want me to stand here and let this young man suffer for what I did. You can't want me to do that.
She's your mother?
Yes. My name's Calloway, too. Marshal, he threatened me. He said if I didn't go away with him, he'd hurt me. He'd fix it so that men would never want to look at me for the rest of my life. Mama grabbed the letter opener. That was the only thing there was.
I had to do something to save my daughter.
Surely they can't call that murder, can't send her away to jail.
They'll probably call it justifiable homicide. She'll still have to stand trial. I'm sorry, Mrs. Calloway, but the way I see it, it'll be the wrong woman standing trial.
If I'd only known it was going to be like this. All I can say now is that I'm sorry. If we can get through this, Mama and I, it'll be different.
I hope it works out that way. For your mother's sake. She's the one that's going to have to forgive you.
I don't mind it, Marshal. Any of it. It's worth everything. To hear her call me Mama again.
Dodge City, on a bright September morning in 1878, awoke to what its residents thought was just the start of another heat wave, a scorcher. To Marshal Wyatt Earp and his deputies, a very hot day meant more than the usual run of trouble.
Oh, she'll hit 105 today, I'll bet you.
At least. Last of the summer heat, always the worst. Mind your manners, Mr. Gibbs. Oh, Miss Mamie.
Ice, real sure enough ice.
It's for the prisoners.
You, brought it all for, Mr. Lon Kermit, huh?
No, it's for all the prisoners. Lon's nothing special to me.
Oh, I see. Well, I tell you, Mr. Gibbs, you take all this nice ice in there and distribute it to the prisoners, courtesy of Miss Mamie.
Well, you can have some too, Marshal.
Well, thank you very much. That's mighty kind of you, but, well, I'll donate my share to Mr. Gibbs over there.
Well, now, that's mighty kind to you. I'll save mine for Roscoe. He's sure feeling the heat today.
Well, Miss Mamie.
Yes, sir?
If you'd,
Like to go in there and say howdy to Lon, I'm sure he'd probably like to thank you for bringing that ice.
No, Lon's been wicked.
Well, he hasn't been that wicked, though. He just got a little bit drunk, shut up the Long Branch Saloon.
Oh, he doesn't care about me. I just work at the hotel where he stays, making beds and sweeping floors. But thanks all the same, Marshal. I can get some more ice this afternoon.
You know, Mr. Kirby, this is the first time I've been any place in a long time.
Well, we'll just stamp your ticket and you'll be on your way. Now, remember, Mrs. Jones, you changed cars in Kansas City. And we ask you to hurry just a little bit if train number 11 is a little behind. Urgent. Excuse me, Miss Jones. Urgent. Cyclone warning. Storm 60 miles southwest of Dodge. Headed your way. Gathering force. Cyclone's coming.
Cyclone. Oh, cancel this, Mr. Kirby. I've got to get home.
Somebody hire you yell that as a practical joke?
No, sir, Mr. Earp. It's the truth. It come over the telegraph wire. You can ask Mr. Kirby at the station.
All right, now you go on home. People will find out about it soon enough already without you yelling about it. Now go on.
Okay,
No more yelling.
Which way is she heading now? Quiet, please. We're busy with train orders. 2 passenger trains and freight. We're worried.
He won't tell us a thing, Mr. Earp.
Just talking to himself.
Take it easy. No sense in getting excited. Garden City been hit?
I'm afraid we're going to have a cyclone. She swung north over near Garden City, then turned east. We are stopping all trains between Dodge and Garden City.
Have you heard from Mansfield, Charleston, Ingalls?
Mansfield, they can see the storm there.
Folks, she's still got quite a ways to travel. Maybe she'll blow herself out. Mr. Kirby, I'll send a deputy over. He'll get the latest word. You folks better go home just in case.
How long will it be, Mr. Earp?
Mr. Kirby will let us know in plenty of time. Now, you folks go on home. Stay close to your storm cellar.
You all heard the Marshal. Let's go.
Anything I can do, Mr. Earp?
Now, Mrs. Kirby, you just take care of your husband.
Hurry up, man. Get those shutters on and get on home.
That's right.
Did you lock the door?
Oh, I think so. Well, hurry up. Come on, let's go.
Mr. Gibbs. Where's Wyatt?
Down to depot.
Has he notified the disaster committee?
What for?
Don't you know about cyclones?
Oh, that. Ain't gonna be none here.
Indeed now. Are you a weather prophet, Mr. Gibbs?
No, I ain't, but Roscoe is.
That mule? Fush.
There ain't no fush about it, Mr. Mayor. Take a good look at him. Roscoe don't like cyclones or blizzards. The first thing he does when one's a-comin' is to lay them ears right flat down. Then he starts to switching his tail. He ain't even bothered to lift his head and sniff the air.
Well, I don't take my weather information from a mule. Now, you get Wyatt and tell the disaster committee to meet at Doc McCarty's office.
Well, it's a waste of time, but you're the boss. Don't get your feelings hurt, I believe you.
I'll be down there myself in a few minutes.
Is it true? About the cyclone?
Maybe.
You aim to keep Lon and the others locked up.
Why?
Well, this building couldn't stand a hard wind. And it ain't fair for Lon and the others not to know. Why, if a big
All
twister...
right, Miss Mamie. You go and tell Lon.
I'm going to take care of him and all the prisoners.
Oh, thanks, Mr. Earp.
I sent you over to the station. Mr. Kirby's still trying to track the storm.
Well, Roscoe done already tracked it.
Oh, he has, huh?
Yeah. Much ado about nothing, Wyatt. I told Kelly so, too. But he wants you to collect the disaster committee.
That's too soon. I don't want to take a chance of scaring the people. There are a lot of real high-flying clouds moving in fast from the west.
Check with Roscoe.
Wait a minute. I haven't had any trouble like a cyclone since I came to Dodge. I don't know how these townspeople are going to react to it.
Well, ain't you got no faith in Roscoe?
Mr. Gibbs, I haven't got time to consult with oracles. I'm going to give you a list of special deputies. You go round them up.
But Mr. Earp is a real nice fella. He won't keep you in here if the cyclone comes.
Well, I don't get it. Why are you worrying?
It's my sworn duty toward the unfortunate, that's all.
Well, thank you, miss, for the ice and everything.
Don't mention it. Well, I gotta go now. Is the storm getting worse, Mr. Earp?
Some high clouds forming. You round them up as fast as you can.
Well, ain't you even going to look at Roscoe?
I haven't got time. Now go on, move.
Clouds are getting thicker.
Well, Roscoe's ears still say no cyclone.
We've got a twister on our hands, all right. It's coming mighty fast, Joe.
Oh, it don't look like nothing but a thunderstorm to me. You know, I've been through a twister at Wichita, and I never started like this.
Hold it, hold it. That's Ike Mars at Charleston.
What's the message?
Blowing bad there, he says to warn Ingalls. He says... See, closed his key. I'll try Miles Grady at Ingalls.
That's too close. I'm reporting to Wyatt.
Where have you been, and where's the disaster committee?
You think it looks that bad?
We'll need more help than Miss Gertrude and Mrs. Ryan. Pass those mattresses down to me. And Wyatt,
I got it.
start rounding up some help.
How many you gonna need?
Oh, at least a dozen if you can get them. It'll be about 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah, I'll get them.
Come on, you men, get in. Come on.
All the men in there, get out here.
There's a cyclone coming, Gibbs.
Well, my mule says different. But you're all sworn as special deputies. Wyatt thinks he might need you.
Oh, Oscar, don't go with him. You can't do any good in a cyclone, except get blowed away.
Miss Jones ain't gonna be no cyclone blow here. But this thing can blow both barrels.
I think I'd better go with him, dear.
Mr. Driscoll, what's this here ice house?
Right. Come out of there! 5 members of the disaster committee! 'Tis without shame you are! Hiding like children from a thunderstorm! Wyatt! Wyatt! There they are, take a look at them!
Scorman, Doc is gonna need you and the other ladies to help him.
I don't care what Doc needs. We've got the children down here.
That's no use, Mr. Kelly. I sent Shotgun Gibbs to get some special deputies. They're gonna have to help Doc.
Oh, Mrs. Gorman, here, I'll hand them down to you.
I'll hand them down.
2 women could handle these kids. They don't need the whole dozen of them.
Watch yourself. Now keep down. It's not blowing itself out and it's heading straight at us. You're going over to Doc's house. I'll try and find Mr. Gibbs. He's probably over at the jail.
But Wyatt, What about after? The looting and all?
Mr. Kelly, if that twister hits Dodge City, there won't be anything left to loot.
Dory, it's hit Engels.
Engels? But that's just west of here.
Quiet, quiet. Miles Media is still sending. He says he can see the funnel cloud. He says it's taking houses at the edge of town. Stop sending. I guess I'll try to get Charleston.
That's enough. We've got to get out of here.
Dora, you go. Tell Marshal Earp will only be a few more moments.
Not without you.
Dora, you know I can't leave.
And I'm staying right here.
Boys, I reckon Wyatt will want us to patrol below the line. Them folks down there might get excited and start to stealing things.
I don't see any funnel yet, Shotgun.
Well, you ain't heard Roscoe kicking up no fuss, have you?
Is all the men you could find?
Darn lucky to find them.
All right, go on over to Doc McCarty's office on the double.
What about looting below the line, Wyatt?
If the living want to steal, let 'em. Doc will be needing you to pull out the dead and wounded.
That's straight thinking. Let's go, Joe.
It's the twister. I can see it.
Well, not yet, Miss Mamie. But it is time to turn Lon and the rest of the boys loose.
Oh, yes, hurry.
All right, shut up now.
Shut up! All right, I'm letting you men out of here because it's only fair. Looks like that cyclone's going to blow in any second. Now, Doc McCarty's going to need a lot of men to help with rescue work. Mr. Kermit, you look like a husky man. You want to help the doc?
Well, I got to take care of her, Marshal. I owe her a favor.
I can't force any of you to help the doc. When you get outside, you take a look at that sky and decide for yourself.
We're going to help the doc. Come on, Lon. And the rest of you, too.
You say so, Mamie. Come on, boys.
Let's go. Come on. Come on, let's get out of this way.
Oh, we can kill them.
He ain't funneled yet, Doc. She will. Where's Wyatt? I turned their prisoners loose. All right. Now listen, all of you. When the twister forms, we'll go into the storm cellar. As soon as it passes, Marshal Earp and Mr. Gibbs will lead the rescue parties. There'll be a lot of casualties we can save by prompt action. Now I'll divide my time between the two rescue groups. If you have any doubt about the injured, send for me. Otherwise...
We come to help.
Good. Where are them other two boys, Lon?
They run off.
Lon will fix them, Mr. Gibbs.
They won't get far.
Never mind that now. I want to repeat my instructions. We haven't much time. Now remember, when the twister forms, we'll go into the storm cellar.
Why don't you run? I'll tell you why. Because there's no place to run to. She's coming too fast. All your rotten sins are rolled up in that big black cloud. Fall down on your knees and repent. Repent, I say, and beg for mercy. For mercy is the only thing that can save you now.
Come on, everybody. Let's take cover in the ice house.
They won't let us. It's jammed full.
They'll let us in. Come on.
That's all.
We're coming in, Driscoll.
There's no more room.
Make room.
That's far enough.
Who says?
I'm warning you.
You killed him, you murderer!
Stop it! No more shooting. We can take care of you girls. The men can lie close to the wall and be safe enough.
Thanks. Come on, girls.
Help me with a minute.
Look over yonder.
Nancy! Nancy!
George!
Nancy!
Reggie!
Nancy! My dog! He'll get blown away!
Well, look, I'll find your dog, Muggsy. You go on back to the storm cellar and wait.
Please, Mr. Earp, he'll get hurt!
So will you. You see that cyclone coming? Now you go on back to the storm cellar. I'll find your dog. Go on.
Yes, sir.
Bugsy! Come here, boy! Bugsy! Bugsy! Come here, Bugsy! Bugsy!
She's fun over here in a few minutes. Everybody inside. All right, everybody get inside. Well, come on, do what the doc tells you. I got to go find Wyatt. I'll help you. You get the cellar.
No, I'm gonna go with you and Mr. Gibbs.
Come on, Mama. Well, I'll take care of you in a minute. Here, take care of my hat. Now listen, matey. You got to get in that cellar. What are you doing here, son?
It's Marshal Earp. He'll get blown to Kingdom Come.
Earp? Where is he?
My dog ran into the Alamo Saloon. Marshal Earp went after him.
Mr. Jones, open the door.
George, come in here.
Earp's running after some fool door. Oh, no. Come on, Willie, let's go. Maybe there ain't a thing you can do to help, so why don't you get on down in the cellar? We're helping to find Wyatt.
The fool's probably patrolling Front Street.
No reason for you being a fool, too, Kelly. That's a twister, a real big one.
Shotgun me, you'll find him. The rest of you stay here.
No. Come on, Lon.
I'm coming, too. She's my girlfriend. Let's move.
They'll keep the doctor. Sit tight and keep the women quiet.
Quiet, he's the biggest fool in camp.
Come here. Bugsy! Now, Bugsy, you stay right there. Come here. Come on. I'm not gonna hurt you. Just take it real easy. Come on. Come here. Come on. Bugsy. Come here, Bugsy, you little nut. Come here. Come on. Attaboy. Come here, Bugsy. Come on. Be a nice puppy. Come on, I'm not gonna hurt you. Big old cyclone coming out there, and I'm trying to save your life. Now, come on. Come on. That's it. Come on. Attaboy. Isn't that good? Yes, sir. You like that, huh? You like that?
Have you seen Wyatt?
No, but little George said he was on his way to the Alamo Saloon, chasing a stray pup.
Lord help us all. Wyatt! Wyatt! Where are you?
I'm right in here.
Get in here. Wyatt, are you gone loco? You better make a run for it.
It's too late now. He's come.
We'd be better off in the street, lying down flat.
No, get down low, under the bar.
What do you think, Mr. Gibbs?
You're going to hit us, Wyatt?
He ain't gonna hit us. He's a veering south. She's a veering south. Take a look.
By golly, she is veering south. She's passing.
Fred Roscoe. You know, I ought to give that mule out. But I ain't gonna scorn him.
Just take it easy, Muggsy. We'll go find Georgie, huh? You know, I think we all underestimated that mule.
Amen. All right, let's go.
All over, the cyclone moved south and missed us.
It's all clear, folks. You can come on out.
Oh, thank the Lord. Amen. Come around.
Folks, the storm is over. It's passed by. Come on. Everybody out. Oh, I'm glad to get out of there. Come on, Georgie. Here's Muggsy.
Muggsy! Muggsy! Thanks, Marshal Earp.
It's all right. Muggsy isn't trained too well. You better take him home and train him.
That's right, what I'm going to do now.
Seems kind of stupid going back to jail. We could take off.
No, you couldn't.
I told you, Lon. She's got you.
No, I reckon.
Roscoe, you're a real smart animal.
Well, that ain't news to me. Say, what are you gonna do with Lon and them other two fellers? Maybe just took them back to jail.
Well, I'm gonna turn them loose, and then I'm gonna go out and try to find those other two saddle tramps that ran away.
Now, that's favoritism, White. The people acted almost as good as Roscoe did, and they didn't know the cyclone wasn't gonna hit.
Well, if I could afford it, I'd buy them all medals. Well, come to think of it, I wouldn't. Most of them knew in their hearts after that first panic was over that they acted like good people. Knowing that, it's better than having any old medal.
The persistent dream of Wyatt Earp's life was to own a cattle spread and find peace far from a marshal's job in the tough towns of the frontier. Now that Dodge City was changing to a county seat where townsmen and sodbusters wanted no more of the rip-snorting past, Marshal Earp was ready to move on to a ranch of his own. But he hadn't been able to save much money, and the intervention of Dr. John H. Holliday seemed to be almost providential.
You gentlemen at Dodge forgotten how to play poker? Let's ante up. Nosy?
I'm down to this. What's it worth?
Well, what is it?
First deed of trust on the KC Ranch in Colorado. I loaned the owner $3,000. He's in default.
I'm sorry, Nosy. I'm not interested in ranches.
Doc, I'll let you have it for $500.
I said not interested.
Wait a minute, Doc.
Hello, Deacon.
I'll take half that paper for cash, if you'll go partners.
Wyatt, who wants a ranch in Colorado?
I do.
Come on, Doc. This is a poker game.
All right, Nosy, I guess we'll take it. But this had better be a genuine first deed of trust. If it is not, the second deed will foreclose on your body. And whatever happens to be left of your soul. Deacon, you are an absolute jinx. All I won was about $800 and a mortgage on a flea-bitten ranch in Colorado.
That'll do us for a start.
What?
Yeah, with my savings, we can buy ourselves a few head of cattle. The place has probably been abandoned.
Wyatt, are you serious? You mean you'd quit your job here?
I've always wanted to have a cattle spread. I can take a leave of absence here. Shotgun Gibbs can handle things.
But that ranch is probably not worth a thing. Believe me, I know the country up around the Kansas-Colorado border.
Well, I'm going to take a look. I suggest you come along and protect your interests.
The KC Range. You satisfied now?
Well, I've seen better cattle country.
It's get started bad.
Not me. You suit yourself.
I swear I don't know why I let you talk me into this.
Yes, you do. You wondered where the nosy cheated us. You didn't believe there was any KC ranch.
Deacon, will you kindly stop referring to it as a ranch?
The deed said 1,000 acres.
Now what? The John Law's dream of peace?
All right, that's far enough. Now, who are you? What do you want?
We thought this ranch was abandoned, ma'am.
Well, it ain't. I'm Mrs. Dawson, the owner. Now, what's your business?
Mr. Smith and I hold the first deed on this property, Mrs. Dawson. I'm Mr. Jones.
Deed? Let's see.
Gladly, ma'am.
We, bought it from Nosy Parling.
That thief? You know the law in Colorado, Mr. Smith?
Just generally, ma'am.
Well, I got a year to redeem this ranch, and that year won't be up until November.
I see.
We're wasting time here, Mr. Smith. It'll take till sundown to reach Stonington.
Yep. Better be on your way.
Where's your husband?
Well, if it's any of your business, he was murdered a couple of months ago. Bushwhacked by cattle thieves. Buried out there in what's left of the garden.
Hold this.
Mrs. Dawson.
I'm sorry about your husband, ma'am. Did they, catch the bushwhackers?
No. Everybody's too scared of Brocious and Ringgold.
Curly Brocious and Johnny Ringgold?
Yep, that's right.
What are they doing around here?
They own the spread next door. Use it as a station on the Outlaw Trail. You know them?
Yes, ma'am, I know of them. You alone here?
I got guns, Mr. Smith. I know how to use them. Anyway, my relations are due any day now from Nebraska. So you better take your friend's advice and hit the trail.
Are you sure there was, Brocious and Ringgold that killed your husband?
Can't prove it. No use sure worrying about that deed of trust. You'll get your money.
I'm worried about you.
Why?
This is no country for a lady like you to be alone in. Excuse me, I'll have a little talk with Mr. Jones. I have to stay here now. If those men turn out to be Brocious and Ringgold, then I'd have...
A ranch and a good-looking widow woman. You trying to hornswoggle poor old Mr. Jones?
Why do you always have to accuse everybody of having the worst motives?
Well, Deacon, there's nothing wrong with wanting a ranch and a wife. We better camp here for the night. Let's start a fire and break out the bedrolls.
Beans, hardtack, and dried apples. Make you hungry?
Yeah.
Maybe Mrs. Dawson's got some nice fresh milk in the cistern.
Uh-oh.
I made some beef stew, and I thought you might like some fresh milk.
Yes, ma'am. Mighty kind of you, Mrs. Dawson.
You're welcome. Oh, if you want some water, just get it out of the wagon.
I'll, walk you over the house.
How come you didn't leave this afternoon?
Well, my friend was tired.
Oh. That the only reason?
No, ma'am. I don't like Brocious, and I don't like Ringgold. Don't like cattle stealing, murder. Aim to do something about it.
Oh, no, please. They're the most notorious gunfighters in this part of the country. You'd only get yourself killed, too.
Mrs. Dawson, why'd you and your husband ever come out to this part of the country?
Well, it's not so bad. Had a drought the last couple of years, but still good grazing land along the river, across that ridge there.
I'd like to look at the rest of your spread.
Just in case my folks don't turn up with the money.
No, ma'am. I like ranching and I like cattle.
Mr. Smith, are you trying to make friends with me?
Yes.
Guess I'm trying to make friends with you, too, only I didn't want to admit it, even to myself.
Well, you need a good friend, Mrs. Dawson. Mighty brave of you to try and stick it out here alone. Kind of foolhardy, too.
Well, I'll see you in the morning. Oh, breakfast at first light, huh?
Good night, Mrs. Dawson. Hey, Doc. Doc?
Why don't you shut up and let a man get some sleep?
How well do you stand with Roches and Ringgold?
Well, they don't hate me with the same killing hatred they hold for you.
Why don't you ride over there tomorrow? Find out if they bushwhacked this lady's husband.
Oh, Deacon. John and Curly would not ambush a man that could kill in a fair fight.
You might know who did.
Then you ask him.
You know, if they've been stealing cattle, they could be rich. I'd like to bet you in poker they still draw to an inside straight.
Yeah. Now you're making sense.
Well, I got another idea, too. Of course, it's larceny.
Larceny? At last you've established a rapport, as the French would say. Tell me, Deacon, just what is this filthy, illegal scheme?
Well, tomorrow you ride over to the Ringgold Broch's camp, and you take along this deed to the ranch. I'll give you a good reason for being in Colorado.
Well, there she is, the Rio Blanco. And the only good grazing land left from the drought.
Where's your cattle?
Roches and Ringgold stole most of it. Sell the rest to live. Ah, I wish you could see this spread in a rainy season. That land will feed 2,000 head.
I can see why you tried so hard to hang on to it, Miss Nellie.
Couldn't sell it even in a rainy season with cattle thieves right next door.
Maybe I can do something about that.
Oh, no. No, if the county sheriff and his deputies are too scared, why should you risk your life? I know what you're thinking. I need a husband.
Husband? No,
Mr. Smith, you married?
No, ma'am.
You don't need to look so scared. I'm not proposing.
Lots of men do their own asking.
You're the nicest I've seen.
Don't you encourage me.
Well, we could think about it anyway, huh?
You don't know anything about me.
Mr. Smith, I don't care who you are or what you are. So there, now how's that for a brazen hussy?
Stop or I'll shoot.
I wouldn't advise it. Raise that rifle anymore, I'll put a hole through your head.
Johnny! Curly!
I'm Dr. John H. Holliday. You take care of my horse.
Ease off. It's Doc Holliday.
What are you doing out here, Doc?
Well, I ain't stealing cattle. Imagine finding you two in this goat pasture. Let's step in out of the sun. Tell your boys to take a walk.
How'd you know we was here?
Oh, some blabbermouth over in Stonington. I forget his name. I have a surprise for you, Curly. I'm now your next-door neighbor. You better have Ringo read it to you.
What's it say, Johnny?
It's a trust deed on that Dawson spread.
I won it from Nosy Parlin in a card game. You boys look kind of poor here. That's surprising. Cattle rustling used to be very profitable. Now, don't tell me that the drought busted you.
We've got competition, Doc.
Huh? Who?
Buff Conrad and his Colorado Stonies. They bushwhacked old man Dawson and blamed it on us.
You boys amuse me. Curly Brocious and Johnny Ringo standing for a thing like that?
We can't corner them. They raid our herds from out of Mexico before we can get them down there.
And they got some marshals in Colorado on their side.
Marshals? Now, that is interesting. Let's get down to business.
What do you mean?
Well, like I told you, I now own Nellie Dawson's spread. You boys move some cattle over there. Leak the word to this Buff Conrad that Nellie restocked the place. Then when Conrad and his crew try to steal a poor widow's cattle, you be laying for them.
What's in it for you?
There's a word called retribution.
Never mind that. How much for you?
$300. Just for my travel expenses.
Well, now we're getting somewhere.
Good. I suggest we discuss the finer details during a leisurely game of cards.
A ranch and a what?
A ranch and a lonely widow, Mr. Jones. How'd it go?
Now, how'd you expect? An intelligent scoundrel against two very stupid hoodlums? We're gonna need Nellie, though.
Why?
We better have a little talk.
Mrs. Dawson, that was a most delightful supper.
Thank you, Mr. Jones.
Now, if you two will excuse me, I'd like to go out on the porch and commune with the stars.
What is this, a conspiracy between you two? Ah, now, it can't be quite that serious.
Miss Nellie, my real name is Wyatt Earp. I'm the Marshal of Dodge City. Mr. Jones is really Dr. Holliday. I sent him to talk to Brocious and Ringgold. They claim they didn't kill your husband. You know Mr. Buff Conrad and his gang? Brocious and Ringgold claim that that's the man we're looking for.
You came here on police business.
No. We came here to look at a cattle ranch that we thought had been abandoned. We had no idea that you lived here or that Brocious and Ringgold lived next door.
And that's the only reason you stayed? 'Cause you're a marshal?
Miss Nellie, I tried not to be. Once a man pins a star on it, there's nothing I want more than a cattle ranch. You're one of the finest women I've ever known.
But the law comes first. Is that the way it's gotta be?
My job's caught up with me. I didn't plan it that way. But I do need your help.
Of course, Wyatt. I want Conrad punished if it's possible. What can I do to help? Mr. Regan.
Well, howdy, Mrs. Dawson. Nice to see you again.
Thank you. Mr. Regan, here's the money I owe you. And I got a list of supplies that I need here. And I can pay cash.
Did you collect some insurance?
No, my relatives from Nebraska are helping me.
Well, mighty unusual relatives, I'd say.
They paid what I owed and loaned me enough to buy another herd.
Did you buy some more steers?
200 head. Much as I can feed until we get some rain.
Ah, the rain will come. And this time I wish you much better luck. Thank you, sir. Now, let's see. Canned goods, oil.
Thank you.
Now, no funny business, Doc. We're moving 200 head to the Widow's Range this afternoon.
I've done my part. Now, you make sure you don't use too many cattle guards. I figure Conrad should hit you sometime between now and sunup tomorrow.
You sure he got the word?
Curly, I happen to be from Georgia. You got any more insulting questions?
I didn't mean it that way. Ringo's on my back and he wants a turkey shoot. You know how Johnny is.
Yeah, I know how you both are. You're lying, thieving skunks. When it comes to murder, I trust you.
It'll have to be done this way, because I haven't got a posse, but I sure don't like it.
Stop your blathering. Curly and Ringgold stole Nellie's cattle, and they're your worst enemies. And Buck Conrad is a no-good bushwhacking killer.
Yeah, I know, and this makes us no better than he is. I don't like bushwhacking. Looks like the relatives from Nebraska.
Oh, it's so good to see Johnny. How are you? Oh, I think you look wonderful. How was the trip? Oh, it's so
Well, it's time for you and I to leave.
Coward.
That's right. I'm camping on the riverbank tonight. You want the whole state of Nebraska around when the shooting starts?
Wyatt, I'm willing to give you my half of the ranch if you'll invite Nellie to a wedding.
Well, when I told her who I was and that I needed her help, she didn't like it. I'm just a tin star doing my job.
That's too bad. Seeing you marry would have appealed to my sadistic sense of humor. Well, look at there. Right on time.
I can't go ahead with this bushwhacking.
Now, hold on, Wyatt.
Go back! It's an ambush!
Wyatt! Have a better chance.
No.
This must be Conrad. Correction. It was Conrad.
You're a double-crossing hound, Doc.
Working for Earp all the time. Sorry it had to work out this way.
They'd have done worse to you, and a posse would not have made any difference. Curly, would you and Ringo like to call me any more names? It wouldn't have to be very bad names.
Wyatt, are you all right?
Yes. I'm taking these cattle thieves to jail. The man that killed your husband is lying across that horse back there. Now, there are a few wounded men along the riverbank. Maybe some of your men folk can go pick him up. I'll send a doctor over from the railroad.
Wyatt, I wish that...
Miss Nellie, don't you ever marry a John Law.
You lost one husband. I'd hate to see you lose another.
Doc, give me that paper.
Haven't we been heroes enough?
I said, give me the paper. Here's your deed.
No, thanks, Wyatt. I can pay now. Too bad you're going to keep that star. It sure makes some woman a mighty fine husband.
Thank you, ma'am.
What?
City in the fall of 1879. They wanted Wyatt to return with them to Arizona Territory, where opportunities in ranching or mining seemed to be almost fabulous. But neither Wyatt nor his brothers realized that Arizona at that time was ruled by a handful of corrupt officials in league with cattle thieves, stage robbers, and hoodlums. The Terps had ample warning of this situation when old man Clanton and his boys stopped off in Dodge.
Sir, I do not wish to discuss this with you any further. You insult my intelligence, sir. And I say, sir, that you insult the memory of Mr. Tom Jefferson. And I say Tom Jefferson's a liar, and all men are not created equal. Why, that does it, sir. Prepare to defend yourself. Now, you two fellers quit that. You might hit one of my horses. And get your horses out of the way. All right now, sir. Apologize or fight. Go get Marshal Earp. Marshal Earp! Fight! Fight! Marshal Earp! You're plumb loco, mister. The good Lord didn't create you equal to me. That does it, sir. Make your play. Virgil, Morgan, you keep out of this, sir. Have you two gone loco? Can't two gentlemen fight in peace? I'll fire a shot to warn them. Now, mister, I'm waiting for you. Oh, no, sir. I am waiting for you. Despite what you two may think, your actions are not the least bit funny. It's your turn to warn this, gentlemen. I believe it is. Hold it! Hold it!
Virgil and Morgan. Suck it again.
Practical joking where folks can get killed is the lowest form of humor. He could take them both to jail.
Your face, brother, if I'd only had a camera. Run them in, Marshal. That one took a shot at Doc Holliday.
They're both under arrest. Now, let's go to jail. Doc, you come along, too. You're a witness.
You aiming to find us?
That's right. Assault with a deadly weapon and Dr. Holliday.
I warned you, Morgan. You and your jokes. Come on, Doc. Admit it was a good joke.
No. Now, I have given Wyatt a formal statement to the effect that your 45 was accidentally discharged. However, I will not condone or encourage your crude horseplay by referring to it as humor.
He's sore.
No, Morgan, I am not sore. I just happen to have a healthy respect for a really good joke.
Oh, well, don't rush off now, Doc.
They are your brothers, so you visit with them. I'm $300 loser at the Long Branch.
But Doc, wait
Let him go, Morgan. He hasn't been feeling too well lately.
These are all the letters you brought from home?
Well, I could remember to bring.
Well, Wyatt, how about Arizona Territory? Yeah, when can you leave Dodge?
Any time, I guess. But you better tell me a little bit more about this paradise out there in the middle of all that sagebrush.
Well, look, like I wrote you from Prescott.
Howdy, Doc.
Well, the Clantons. This is a bad day. I thought the Texas Rangers hanged you.
Ease off, boys. Doc and me is old friends.
I'll let that pass, Clanton. What is your business with me?
We're looking for Dave Burnett of the Lazy Q.
But I haven't seen him. You better rack these guns.
You're carrying one.
Clanton, teach your brats some manners. That's the last good advice you'll get from me.
Stop that. We're here to see Burnett. We don't want no Kansas law on us.
Then, Bob's right.
Go get the others. We're putting up at the Santa Fe Hotel. You hear me, Finn?
Yes, sir.
Well, get along with you. And
don't start no ruckus with nobody.
Now, that's Prescott, where I just bought a house. It's good ranching country to the south and to the east. Of course, there's been a big silver strike down here in Pima County. Most of it centers around Tombstone.
I favor Tombstone, Wyatt. Plenty of claims left if you push along quick.
Tombstone, huh? Yeah, that's quite a name.
You know, that whole Pima County's kind of rough, they tell me.
Virgil's an old married man.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm tired. I'm tired of Dodge City, and I'm tired of wearing a badge, and Dodge City doesn't need me anymore. How much do you think it'll cost to move a couple of wagons overland, huh?
Hey, Virgie's gonna do it.
Sure I'm gonna do it. Now, you go along and buy the gear, get it ready, and take my share out of that.
Why can't you help us pick it out?
Well, I got a little chore I have to do. I have to go kind of explain things to Mayor Kelly. Now, you've met the mayor before. He's going to try and Irish me out of it.
Arizona. That's for us.
Yeah, let's hope we don't regret it, huh?
Yes, Pop. We'll check in, then go back to the stable and pick up our trappings.
Come on, boy.
My name's Clanton. N.C. Clanton, Pima County, Arizona.
Yes, sir, Mr. Clanton. What can I do for you?
3 rooms.
I'm sorry, we're all filled up.
No, you ain't. Clear out 3 rooms.
Sure, Pop. All right.
The best ones. Hurry up there now.
Open up there, open up.
When I say 3 rooms, I mean it.
This is Dodge City, Kansas, Mr. Clanton. We've got a police force here.
You tired of living?
No, but you just can't go around kicking people out of their rooms. Somebody's bound to tell Mr. Earp.
I doubt it.
This is outrageous. You can't do this.
The room's all clear, Pop.
Good. Now, we aim to act nice. We won't be here long. We won't even tote our guns on the street. You aim to act nice, too?
Yes, Mr. Clanton.
Good. Then I got that settled. All right, let's move in, boys.
King's the winner.
Dave.
Oh, howdy, Doc.
Suit yourself. Have a drink.
You know that old man Clanton is looking for you?
Yeah. He wrote me to meet him here. How many's with him?
Ike and Finn are the only ones I saw.
Man, I guess I better get it over with. My outfit's still on the trail.
Dave, why don't you tell Wyatt Earp?
Oh, he wouldn't help me. Where's Clanton staying?
I don't know. But you better let him find you.
No, that'd only make him all the meaner. But thanks anyway, Doc.
$1,400.73. I told you to bring the whole 8,000.
Those were stolen cattle you sold me.
Who says so?
The Mexicans you took them from. They jumped my trail boss in New Mexico near Las Vegas, and they took back every steer.
Well, you still owe me 8,000.
He needs a pistol whipping. He can raise the money?
Shut up.
Now, I don't aim to quarrel with an elderly man like you. How much can you raise?
Well, 4, maybe 5,000.
Make it 6,000. What time is it, Ike?
Almost sundown. 2107, Pop.
Bring the money here by 9 o'clock. You hear?
I can't. The bank's closed.
Find the banker. 9 o'clock now. All right, take him out of here. Here. Leave those guns here now. We don't aim to be rousted by no Kansas police that we can't fix. We ain't in Arizona now, remember that.
Here's to you, Wyatt. I'll verge.
Milk.
Oh, excuse the beer, Wyatt. I keep forgetting.
Now, you fellas can laugh and joke all you want to, but milk is a very good habit to get into.
Yeah, well, I sure wish Morg would stay on milk. Go on, Morg. You're toasting.
Ah, the toast. Let's see now. Well, Doc, you're just in time. We're drinking Wyatt's health and milk. Here, I'll pour another one.
Keep that stuff out of my sight. I swore off milk when I was 22 months of age. Wyatt, you ever hear of old man Clanton?
No, I...
Virgil? Morgan?
Clanton. Isn't he a rancher in southern Arizona? Seemed to me I heard his name
No, he's a cattle thief and a killer. Rangers ran him out of Texas, and now he's in Dodge. Tell your brothers to take a walk.
Trouble? That's it, count us in. No, you don't. Come on, Morgan. Let's go. I'll see you at the office, Wyatt.
All right.
Out.
Dave Burnett of the Lazy Q has been trying to raise $6,000. He's in a hurry, and he's scared.
Why didn't he come to me first?
Well, you buffaloed him and threw him in jail once, remember?
Oh, nothing personal.
But Dave took it personal. You hurt his feelings. Wyatt, hasn't it ever occurred to you that a man belted over the skull with a .45 might just have a few twinges of injured pride?
Well, I handled Mr. Burnett because he and the Lazy Q started a big hurrah in town. I'll go and try and find him. You visit with Virgil and Morgan. I want to keep him out of this.
Thank you, Deacon. Usually scoundrels amuse me, but not old man Clanton. He's mean, and he's stupid.
Miss Lee, I had a check.
And that's the truth, since you asked me. I can't raise the money by 9 o'clock, and I can't run.
Clanton's got 4 men with him, huh?
His boys, Ike and Finn, and a couple of gunslingers that I don't know.
You at the Santa Fe Hotel? All right, Mr. Burnett, I'll take care of it.
Why should you? I ain't caused you nothing but trouble.
Extortion is a felony. Now, if I were you, Mr. Burnett, I wouldn't drink anymore. I'd just go over to the Dodge house, lock myself in the room, stay there.
All right, Marshal. Much obliged.
Evening, Mr. Reeves.
Oh, hello, Marshal.
I'm looking for old man Clanton. I understand he and his crowd checked into the hotel here.
They were here, but they checked out.
Oh?
No, I'm lying to you, Marshal. I just don't want to have any more trouble.
Clanton still in the rooms?
No, they went down the street to the Texas house.
Wearing guns?
Not that I could see. They're mean people, Marshal, real mean. You're going to need every deputy you got. Do me a favor, will you? Jump them out on the street.
Rooms 9, 10, and 11. I'll take the keys.
Look, Mr. Earp, don't get me mixed up in this. They're liable to come back any minute.
I'll go get a search warrant if you want it.
No. I'm leaving. And don't get yourself cornered upstairs.
Now stump him, Finn. Yeah, you stump him, Pop. He called you the names.
What time is it, Ike?
17 of 9.
Let's get back to the hotel.
Probably going back to the office. No. Look yonder.
Hey, Wyatt.
Pop, look. Ain't that a John Law?
Might be. What's he got on us?
2 more fellas by the water trough. We should have our guns.
We'll have them soon enough.
Boy, can do me a favor. Go on over to the office and get the deputies over here on the double.
Are those the Clantons?
That's right.
Hold it, Morg. You don't need your deputies. We'll go get our guns. Be back in half a minute.
No, I don't want a gunfight.
What's the idea?
I took their guns out of their rooms, locked them in the hotel safe. I want to give those Clantons a good rousing with bare knuckles.
The deputies handy with their fists?
Yes, they are.
Still think it's a risky plan, Wyatt.
Pop, do we know them men over there?
No. We'll see if Burnett's here with the money. If he ain't, we'll go get him.
You're always pulling this big brother stuff on me.
Well, you're always pulling on me. Well, there's no use arguing with him, Morg. He always was as stubborn as one in the family. All right, go get your deputies. I think it's a reckless plan.
Burge is right this time, Wyatt.
Come on, Morg.
Here. All those. I'll go in after him myself.
They'll massacre him, Burge.
He needs a good lesson.
Where's Wyatt going without his guns?
He thinks he can lick 5 Clantons all by himself.
Wyatt lost his temper, Doc. Burge thinks we shouldn't help him.
Well, somebody's got to help him.
You keep out of it, Doc. It's a family matter.
My gun's been stolen. So is mine. You just can't get yours.
Rance, Dunlap, we've been robbed. Look in your rooms. No guns, Mr. Clanton. We'll wring this flea bag inside out. Open up there, open up. Hold it.
I'm the fellow that took your guns.
Oh, you did?
Look out, Pop. He's a John Law.
Why ain't you armed, Sonny?
Well, I kind of figured we'd all start even. I wanted to see just how tough you boys from Arizona really were.
You all right?
Yeah, watch him.
Where you go? Get me a gun. Here's one.
Berger, what happened to that man you were fighting with?
That was, Flint Clanton, I think.
Well, what happened to him?
I threw him out the window.
What happened to him, Doc?
Well, he wanted a gun, so I gave him the barrel of yours.
Well, that's great. Judge Stoughton isn't going to like this, and I can't say I blame him. Well, sure, I wanted the Clantons rousted, but I didn't expect to have a man thrown out of a window or old man Clanton busted over the head. He may have a fractured skull.
He'll live, I'm sorry to say.
Virgil, would you be kind enough to take me outside and show me where Finn Clanton landed? He just might be dead.
Oh, take it easy now, Wyatt.
What's Wyatt hollering about? He punches harder than any of us.
Yeah, that he does. You know, the combined punching power of the Earps is going to come in mighty handy in Arizona.
Mr. Burnett has testified that our visitors from Arizona Territory tried to extort $6,000 from him in payment for stolen cattle. Marshal Earp has testified that he and his brothers and Dr. Holliday were obliged to subdue the suspects with physical measures in order to avoid a gunfight. Marshal Earp.
Yes, sir?
The court must reprimand you for an excessive zeal in arresting the suspects. The court cannot condone violence on the part of police officers and their special deputies. When, by your own testimony, the use of less extreme force could have accomplished the arrest of Clanton and his men.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Clanton, it's the opinion of this court that Mr. Burnett has told the truth. However, he cannot provide corroborating testimony. The case against you and your associates is dismissed.
Your Honor?
Order! Yes, Marshal Earp.
Your Honor, Mr. Burnett's men, about 20 of them, just come in off a cattle drive for the Lazy Q. I'd like to recommend that Mr. Clanton and his boys be put in protective custody until they're ready to get on their train for Arizona.
Very well. It is so ordered. The court's adjourned.
This way.
Keep moving.
Keep those guys out of town and get them out fast.
Someone with a broken leg.
Bunch of troublemakers. There are your guns. You don't take them out of that sack until after you cross the Kansas line.
And I've got an order for you, too.
Oh?
Stay out of Arizona, you and them brothers of yours. If I catch you around Tombstone, you won't live.
You make my apologies to the conductor. Wild animals should be caged, but we didn't have time.
Well, he cleaned up the country, the old Wild West country. He made law and order prevail. And none can deny it, the legend of Wyatt forever will live on the trail.
Oh, Wyatt Earp, Wyatt Earp, brave, courageous, and bold. Long live his fame, and long live his glory, and long may his story be